I often hear people talking about shooting analog photographs on expired film. But I'll be honest, what I hear is mixed. Some people love it, some people hate it. So should you try it? And is it worth the hassle to potentially see your photographs come out in unexpected ways, shall we say? In the last 2 years, I personally shot over 500 photographs on expired analog film. And now I've compiled all those photographs together, I think it's time for a deep dive. I'm going to compare and contrast the photographs, showing you what worked, what didn't, and what I learned along the way. We'll look at what expired really means when it comes to analog photography, and how, more than anything else, it can be used as an artistic tool, breathing new life into shots, revealing colors and textures you never knew could be there, connecting us to the unpredictable nature of art. Yeah, let's dive in. For the sake of clarity, when I say expired, I mean a roll of film that is past its expiry date, which you'll usually find on either a roll of film or a disposable camera, somewhere on the bottom of the box. Sometimes you can purchase this more cheaply, sometimes you'll find something that you forgot about at the back of a drawer or a fridge, maybe. Or certain rare film stocks like aerochrome are no longer produced, therefore your only choice is to shoot it expired. So let's jump right in with this image. Shot on my actual birthday on the balcony at my office on a sunny day, on perfectly normal film on this Boots 2024 disposable camera, which happens to expire quite a while from now. It's very much in date. Compare that to a similar shot in the same location from 1995, and then 2001. And be honest with me, when you see these images next to each other, in similar weather, in the same place, can you immediately define the difference? And, crucially, do you like one of them more? Although, before you make up your mind, let's put that balcony to some good use with something far more British: overcast weather. We've got a series of expired disposable cameras from across the last 30 years, and we are going to speedrun the same photo in the same location in the same weather.
Okay, right.
How are we?
Yeah, good idea. We should do the same pose every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to quickly get an overview of what expired film looks like across different decades.
So how are we doing it?
I'm going to do a thumbs up.
Okay.
Thumbs
You
up.
ready?
I'm going to do a thumbs up.
I'm just going to do the.
Let's really see what time does to film. Now, of course, this is wildly unscientific. I should point out that despite us doing it in the same place at the same time, these cameras have been collected from different collectors all over the world. Therefore, we do not know what the condition of the film is inside them and the level of degradation they've been suffering. But more about degradation in a moment. Inside the collection, I should also point out we have a lot of varying ISOs, so the light sensitivity of the film is different. But again, we'll cover exactly what that changes soon. For now, let's just take in these photographs.
How we have different facial expressions for different cameras?
I don't know, you could do it a bit.
Honestly, as you look across these different years, as we're creeping up, can you feel the film becoming newer?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Or is it feeling all over the place to you?
This looks like a really nice camera from the front, doesn't it?
One common idea you'll often hear is that you can overexpose expired film in order to improve it. As luck would have it, because of course I used these cameras in my 500 shots in a variety of weather, we were able to perfectly compare some of them. So let's dive in, starting with this 1995 Barbie Baywatch super rare disposable camera, which I mercilessly ripped open and took the full series of photographs with. But if we take a look at that series of photographs, you'll see that it's distinctly dark and feels very aged, except for this one particular photo. And you guessed it, that's taken on a sunny day, on the same bloody balcony actually. Sticking with this hypothesis, we also see similar results from the 1996 Marlboro Cigarettes camera, where we have a sort of dark collection of photographs which look very aged and expired, except for where they're shot in super bright sunlight, like this one, where my grandfather was born in Boris in Ireland. But then we have no outliers with the Jurassic Park The Lost World disposable, which was just essentially a Jurassic disaster. I took this thing to the USA, and if you have a look at this example, myself and Neil, we're clearly wearing sunglasses, it's clearly very hot, and then yet at the same time the photograph just looks completely muted, same as any of the others really. We're getting some extra definition maybe, like at least you can make us out, but that's clearly not a good photograph. For me anyway, no dice. Similarly, on my 1998 Harley-Davidson disposable camera, we have some sunny photographs like this one in front of the Capitol building in Washington, DC, but look how washed out it is. You can see again, this is expired and just kind of lacking anything interesting for me personally again. I mean, it has a style for sure, but that style is just like not reflective of what I took the photograph of. Perhaps another strange example is my 1999 The Parent Trap disposable, where the whole photo collection came out with this really interesting red wash. Now, look, I really like how that looks, but pretty unpredictable, right? Seems totally random. This didn't happen with any of the other cameras. So why all these sort of different changes? What could possibly be going on here to cause this? Degradation. Sadly, film degrades over time, mostly due to exposure to three things: heat, light, moisture. This can cause numerous issues with the expired film, such as color shifting, fading. We might sometimes get poppier, brighter colors, but then we also might sometimes get muted, less clarity, less texture. It's like tossing a coin. If we take a quick look back at one of the poorer photo collections, 1998, we can see this. Then in 2007, 2010, and even 2019 expired film I shot, we see similar muted results. We can also sometimes find issues with the film's emulsion. In analog photography, emulsion is a light-sensitive coating on the film which contains silver halide crystals, sort of stuck in gelatin. And when the film is expired, this emulsion can fade, which can lead to a sort of silvery appearance on the film, which is referred to as mirroring. Other more basic issues include the film becoming more brittle over time, so there may be cracks in it, or it may actually break. Or it may even become sticky, as happened with one of the cameras that's coming up. Anyway, same rules apply. All these changes over time affect the final photographs. Sometimes poorly, but of course, sometimes it works out. Ideally, film should be stored in a cool, dry place. Some people store their film in the fridge, as the low temperatures can help slow down that degrading process even more. It's also dry in there, which of course prevents from humidity, one of those three bloody things we're trying to avoid, unless we embrace it, but we're not quite there yet. In general, you'll find suggestions for storing film like this in order to extend its shelf life. And during my research, of course, I found people claiming that their particular method helped extend the expiry date by at least double. But I'd take anything you find like that with a pinch of salt. Ultimately, this is only going to be very useful when you've had hold of the film before it expired. If you're purchasing something rare from a collector like a disposable camera or film that's no longer produced, then God knows what the collector has been storing it like. Even if they claim it's been stored perfectly, you're never actually going to know. You know what I mean? I'm going to propose that we leave this negativity at the door and lean into it. Welcome the degradation and see what positive results we can glean. You with me? When I started collecting rare disposable cameras from across the last 30 years, I went in full well knowing tons of stuff could go wrong. And actually, if you are interested in the history of disposable cameras, then that deep dive is right there. But that's what I want to be clear about right away. Because if you're mindful of what could go wrong at the beginning of your photography project, then you can start to get excited about what could go right. So let's dive back into this collection. With this 2001 Lambert & Butler disposable, the first time I struck gold. As soon as I got these scans back from the lab, I knew I'd hit the jackpot. Baby. Look at that, the aged film has really brought out the colors. And unlike our 1999 photographs where the red is cool but not vibrant, these ones are truly striking. I feel it. You know what I mean? I feel the film punching me all the way from 2001. 2002 with this pop idol camera wasn't ideal. Again, it's not bad in bright sunlight, but you can feel the colors are a little bit washed out. However, I did strike gold once more with my 2003 camera, this Harry Potter super rare disposable from Kodak. Look at those glorious photographs in that bright sunshine, so golden. The aged film has actually worked in my favor again, and of course, I know it's a little bit convenient that I happen to be shooting in Venice, a very beautiful place, but kind of adds something, right? You feel it. It's not just regular, but it was 2004 where I really started to have some fun. I had an idea. If we're interested in recreating the look and feel of a particular time period, why not try to use expired film from that time period? Sounds like it could work, right? Sounds like something worth exploring. Stay with me. Remember James from earlier?
Thumbs up.
Ready?
I under thumbs up.
Okay, he's back. So is Tim. I thought what better way to test out this hypothesis than getting us all together again, getting on our best noughties clothes, and shooting something. A fun early noughties photo shoot. So this is my 2004 Tesco disposable. Tesco, being the UK's largest supermarket chain, and my hometown of Wrexham just so happens to be home to a gigantic Tesco. Tesco Extra. And the extra is for extra large. Correct. So with our noughties get-up donned, we headed over there. And as I present to you this photo shoot, I'd like you to please ask yourself one key question. When you look at these photos, does it look like 2004? We also took some shots on the same day on the 2022 camera, just to see how the black and white Tri-X 400 film from Kodak would fare under supermarket lighting conditions. Pretty good, I'd say. For comparison, I did actually hunt down some analog photographs from the year 2004 that were taken at the time, just so we can directly compare them again. So, there you go. Interesting, right? Indeed, we really seem to have hit the jackpot once again with this expired film. The colours in this one just popping so much. Yeah, sometimes it really works out, huh? So if we continue through my vast photo collection, I'm willing to bet that even just with the information so far, you'll already be able to spot where the film is degraded and exactly what you think may have happened to it. So, 2009, my Jägermeister rare disposable. What do you think of these photos? The 2010 Toy Story camera. What about these ones? Yeah, not good. Well, how about something really interesting? 2012 with this St. Patrick's Day disposable from the USA. What's pretty interesting about this example is that the colourful phrases are already printed on the roll. So, given that they're colour, and it seems that the camera has probably got warm at some point, that ink has gone all over the place. But it's created these interesting, colourful, and maybe beautiful patterns that I was not ready for. I actually think they're really cool. So sometimes even when stuff gets completely messed up, it works out. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks here. You've seen a fair amount of my expired photo collection at this point, and you've gone through the various ways the film can degrade, which might improve it or not improve it. So let's break down exactly why you might want to get involved yourself, if you're thinking about it. The first reason is going to be cost. Let's take an expensive film stock like Portrait 800 as an example. If we head on to a typical website like here in the UK, Analog Wonderland, let's see what it's selling for. A 5-pack of Portrait 800 is priced at £110 today. And if we take a look at the expired section, we'll find the same film with a recent expiry date with a £40 discount. Not bad. Pretty hefty in fact, given that we'd expect this to still be pretty much just as good, right? You'd imagine they're storing it correctly and I don't know. Not too much difference, surely. So let's take a slightly more extreme example with the same film. I managed to find on eBay a recently sold 10-pack of Portrait 800 that expired a decade ago for £100. So that's double the amount of film for 100 quid, so it's around a 50% discount. But of course, this is an expensive film stock, Portrait 800. Super light sensitive film and people love to shoot on it, so of course it holds its price quite well, even when it's a decade old, apparently. But as I mentioned earlier, one of the other main reasons to shoot expired film is simply because the stock you want to shoot on is no longer produced. This is Kodak Aerochrome. It's an infrared sensitive false color film originally developed for aerial photography and camouflage detection. And crucially, in 2009, Kodak stopped making it. Like, forever. And I swear to you, one day I will shoot a project on this film stock. But it's going to cost me, because even today, if we have a look on eBay, a single roll is going to set me back almost £200. And I'm very, very, very painfully aware that that is only going to increase and increase and increase the more I hesitate. Supply and demand, baby. And there ain't much more supply. So what about a third reason? Experimentation. Yes, the big one. Risk reward. Art. there are no shortage of ways to experiment with film stock in creative ways, such as by making film soup, where you soak the film in a variety of liquids before, putting it in the camera and shooting it to see what effect it can give you. If that is of interest, just go and have a search online and you'll find plenty of examples for those different liquids and what you can do to create certain looks on certain film stocks. Trial and error. Or you may be willing to engage in something more artistic, not simply about the film stock, but about something around it. And if you'd be willing to indulge me just for a moment, I'd like to break down my own project, just in case it could be of interest or inspiration. See, for me, it was less about the specifics of the film stock and whether the colors would shift this way or that way, but it was more about time itself as an idea. I set myself a task of collecting a super rare disposable from every year I've been alive. So that was 1994 all the way through to 2024, 31 cameras in total. I had this grand idea that when I lined up all these camera bodies at the end of the project, it would be able to beautifully chart the ebb and flow, the ups and downs of pop culture against the backdrop of my own life, things that I saw become increasingly popular and then not popular, from cigarette advertising to reality television to Hollywood film franchises to, just everything, really. But then I also thought it would be quite thrilling to print out the photos at the end of the project, line them all up, and then have people look at them on a massive display, and in one swift turn of their head be able to take in a whole 30 years of analog film history, see that degradation and flow, see what it looks like. Yeah, I was excited to do that. And as I place them on screen now, one image per year for you, I'm hoping you might enjoy seeing what that feels like too. I've become really obsessed with trying to find an interesting way to mark the passage of time with nostalgia in a sort of fun and unique way. So in 2023, I took a photo every single day on these disposable cameras. That's what I did, in order. And then on my birthday, I threw a party, I put them on a huge display, and I invited my closest family and friends to take a candle and burn and destroy them all with me. But more about that in a different video, coming up very soon. One final note on that collection, of course. I did shoot 2 cameras which had not expired by the time the project was complete. From 2023, it's the Fuji Simple Ace disposable, and then this Boots 2024 camera. God knows, just the most basic one I could get. So if we take a look at how similar shots compare directly, once again, just as we did at the beginning, a quick reminder. This image was shot on my actual birthday on the balcony at the office on a sunny day. Perfectly normal, perfectly chill, fine, unexpired film on a regular disposable camera. Compare it to 2001. Yeah, looks good, but compare that to 1994. Yikes. That, my friends, is the difference. It can go that way, and it can go that way. And with this as our sort of control, I suppose, in order to be able to understand the degradation over time, even though we've gone through all this information, we've learned all this stuff, it still feels like gambling. It really can go, poorly. Looking back over my collection, as we do make it a little bit closer to the present day, I do believe we can feel the film starting to degrade less. The colors are less all over the place, the cool differences are less extreme, everything somehow feels more coherent or consistent. The film simply had less time to degrade, of course. However, there are still outliers, like this, my 2021 Kate Spade disposable from New York City. Really cool camera, really great design, and really great story, to be honest, but the photo collection, look at it, it's so dull and muted. It just didn't work very well. What I really could have done with maybe, as well as a working flash, is some more tips. And if you search online, you're going to find one thing more than anything else. Use more light. As illustrated throughout this video, if you're using something where you cannot control the settings, such as a disposable camera, on expired film, your best bet for great results is going to be to use natural lights. Get your subject right in front of the sunshine, illuminate them as much as you can, shoot on bright sunny days, and you're probably going to get a decent photograph. And if you're using a roll of expired film, and a film camera such as this, my AE1 program from Canon, then the basic advice is that you're going to want to shoot one stop lower for every decade the film has expired. What does that mean exactly? If the ISO of the film is 400 and it expired 10 years ago, shooting a stop lower, you would half that to 200. ISO is the measure of light sensitivity of the film. And of course, as this is aged for a while, you're going to need more light. Ultimately, shooting on expired film is fun. You can get some cheaper film stocks and you can just experiment. For me personally, it was all about being able to mark the passage of time. So the film degradation was all part of it. As long as you're aware of that possibility from the beginning, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And like I say, toss a coin, 50-50, sometimes you're going to be blown away by the results. At least that was my experience. But perhaps for you, it's going to be something even more unique and different, depending on what you want the outcome to be. I would encourage you to embrace the unpredictability of expired film and help use that to create your work and make it even more personal. When I look back at those 500 plus photographs I shot on expired film the last 2 years, honestly, it's the imperfections that I love the most. When we shoot on expired film, we use time as part of our canvas. And I think that's beautiful. Have fun.